So today's story is all about Moses and the Pharaoh of Egypt. Now, I'm not a theologian, so I'm not going to try to explain everything about the story or the context. There's lots of context on the internet, and you can find that. I'm simply going to try to tell the story the way I found it in the Bible. The children of Israel were being held as slaves in Egypt, and the Pharaoh refused to let them go. So God tells Moses to go down and talk to the Pharaoh. And he says, quote, "When you return to Egypt, see that you perform before Pharaoh all the wonders I have given you the power to perform. But I will harden his heart so that he will still not let the people go." I remember that as a child, that statement really bothered me. So God wants him to do something, but he's also hardening his heart so that he won't do it. Well, when Moses talked to the Pharaoh, he was incredibly reluctant to let the slaves go. God sent 10 plagues, not just on the Pharaoh, but on all of the people of Egypt. So the first thing Moses did was to turn all of the water into blood. The Nile River became bloody. The fish died, and the people could not drink from it. I don't have time to tell you every one, but I'll hit some of the highlights. He then sent a plague of frogs that were everywhere. You couldn't take a sip of tea without a frog being in it. Then he told Moses to strike the dust, and that the dust would turn into lice, and they would cover everything in Egypt. Still, the Pharaoh would not let the people go. So after that, God sent a plague of boils. Everyone had boils, painful, bloody boils all over their bodies. He sent a plague of thunderstorms, hail and fire, and everything that it rained upon died. He then, when the frogs didn't do it, he sent a plague of locusts, and you had those little jumping creatures all over everything. Finally, the last one comes, the 10th one, and the Pharaoh still refuses to let the people go. So God says that he is going to cause the death of each firstborn son. I guess that's a good thing when women weren't important enough to be killed. So one interpretation is that God is seen as both benevolent, as long as you stay on his good side, and all-powerful and somewhat hateful when he wants a certain result.